Well, hi everybody. It's me, Jessica, your Health Fitness Program Manager from McLean, and I am looking forward to guiding you through today's Express Mind Body Connection. Today's class is going to address all of those areas that might be feeling a little tired. Maybe you've been sitting in your chair for a while today. Maybe you got to enjoy an awesome road trip over the long weekend. So if you're feeling it in your hips, your hamstrings, your lower back, we're going to get those today. And for something different, we're going to start out standing. So you've got 2 more minutes until class starts. If you've already made it up out of your chair and you just want to make any sort of shapes or movements and be as amazing and weird as you want to be, go for it. We'll get started standing in the middle of our mats. Think about wearing something comfortable that you can move around in, and also maybe making your space smell nice, so you'll slow down and take some really deep breaths. Do, 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 do. There's not going to be any actual water breaks during class, so if you find yourself thirsty, you might already be dehydrated. Go ahead and grab yourself a sip of water right now, and if you need to take some water for yourself during class, go for it. However, if you can resist, if you can build up that personal warmth inside of you, that's something that we're going for. Use your breath to calm you down and to be relaxing, and know that you can drink as much water before class and as after class as you need to. Right, Uncle Buck? You're in my way, little dog. Pardon me. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, let's do this. It is 12:15. It is time for us to enjoy some amazing movement. Just really nice and relaxing. If you're just tuning in, I'm Jessica, your Health Fitness Program Manager for McLean, and we're going to start today's mind-body connection standing at the center of our mat. So go ahead, place your feet down on the floor. Your choice if you want to have your feet side by side, maybe you have your feet hips width distance apart. I want you to do what feels comfortable for you. Let's just stand here for a couple moments, start to relax. Relax your body, relax your mind. So maybe finding one space to focus your eyes, maybe taking a moment to close your eyes. Tune into how your breath feels as class starts, and ask yourself, can you slow it down? Check in with that breath and see where it's coming from and where it's going. Are you only breathing at the top of your chest? Can you take a moment to send that breath all the way down to the bottom of your belly? Allow those fingertips to hang heavy down towards the floor. Stretch tall through the crown of your head. Start to find some length through your spine. Oh, sorry, air conditioning. You're not invited to the yoga party. Finding that length through your spine and fingertips stretching or reaching down to the floor. Make sure that creating extra length did not cause you to overarch your back. Sometimes we lift up, we open our chest, and we find some rounding of that low back. If you notice that happened, I want you to gently tuck your pelvis, stack your shoulders over your hips, over your heels, and then bring attention to where the weight is in your feet. I know for myself, frequently when we come to a standing position, I notice that I bring a lot of weight towards my toes, and there's a bit of a forward lean. So if you're like me, bring that weight weight back to your heels so you're a little bit more stacked. Maybe even take a moment while you're warming up to just find this little forward-backward motion so that you can be a little bit more in tune with what it feels like when you bring the weight more towards your toes, how that brings more of a challenge and stretch towards your calves, but how when you're standing straight up, there's a little bit less of a strain there. All right, so come back to your stillness now. Take a gentle draw in of your lower abdomen. Keep your ribs knitted towards each other like they're hugging towards the center of your body, just to make sure that you're not oversplaying that back again. Chin is neutral to your chest. If you're looking at a spot ahead of you, keep it about in line with your head and shoulders. Take these next 5 breaths to just think about why you came today. Do you know why you came? Are you in tune with that feeling within yourself, or did you just organically find yourself here? What are you hoping to come from today's practice? Maybe just taking this moment to remind yourself how amazing you are for showing up. That it is enough, and whatever you do with your body today, enjoy it. Be proud of what your body can do for you. Turn your hands, palms forward to the front, and inhale both arms up overhead. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Let's do that again a couple times. Turn your hands, palms forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Still just relaxing your focus forward or closing your eyes, and exhale. Arms come down. Make this motion as slow as you can. So inhale as slowly as possible, the full length of your breath. Arms come up overhead. And same thing on the exhale, full length of your slow, intentional exhale. Arms reach down by your side. So take this next minute to move at your own pace. Don't feel pressured to move at the pace of me or anyone else who might be in the room with you. Make sure that weight is still hanging out in your heels. You have that lower belly drawn in, but there's still plenty of room to breathe. What are you doing down there, Uncle Buck? Let's do 2 more big breaths as slow as you can go. Make sure you're getting all of the stale air out in each exhale. Final one. We're going to bring those arms up overhead one last time. Keep them there. This time on your exhale, go ahead, bring your right arm down. Still find some lift and length as you reach your left arm up and over to the side. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, same thing to the opposite side. So just bringing a little bend, love, attention to the side of our body. You might want to separate your feet a little bit wider for a nice stable base. And if you haven't already started to involve your hips in this one, as you reach your fingers over to one side, press those hips to the opposite side. After this next one, I want you to bring those hands, palms together. Go ahead, interlace your fingers, release index fingers, thumbs crossed. Bring the weight back to those heels. Squeeze your glutes, hips forward, shoulders released from ears as much as you can. Find that length from your waist, not just stretching up towards the ceiling. If you can't relax your shoulders down, that's okay. I just don't want you to only find the length by reaching up through the shoulders. Find the length from the waist. Let's do the same thing. Inhale up, exhale, reach to the right. Inhale up, exhale, reach to the left. Up to the right. Up to the left. We got one more time on each side. Up to the right. Up to the left. And as you come through center, Bring your hands palms together in prayer position, namaskar. Bring your hands down to the center of your chest. Elbows are relaxed down. Make sure you didn't bring that overarch to the back. Shift the weight to your feet again. If you haven't closed your eyes yet, take this moment to close your eyes, internalize. Just notice here we are, barely 5 minutes past when I asked you to last check in with yourself. Do you feel any different, any more relaxed than when we started class? Inhale those arms all the way up overhead. Pull that belly in. We're going to hinge forward at the hips. You can bend your knees if you need to, especially if that lower back is tight. Feel free to bring a generous bend to your knees and release your fingers to the floor. If you're feeling really flexible, you might be able to bring your fingers right by your toes. And if you're feeling really tight, keep this long line you created from your back. In fact, you can even start to unbend your legs and think of yourself in a really big tabletop, or maybe a slightly more narrow down dog. Just getting a little forward hinge here. I want you to bend one knee and then the other, keeping your feet on the floor to begin with as we're just really warming up the back of the legs and the lower back as you start to take some movement in your hips. Make sure you still have a draw in of your lower belly. Don't just let it hang out towards the floor. The more that you really have that belly drawn in and you increase this forward fold, the more you can also help to release any gas that you might have in your belly. It's okay, it's yoga, hopefully. You're somewhere private or with people who are cool and understand that you're doing yoga. So let's go ahead and really work on getting that compression in your stomach. Up to you where you want to have your hands. Once again, they can be on the floor. If you need to, they can be on your shins or on your thighs. We're going to inhale up into a half lift. So you can completely release your hands from the floor. Make sure you didn't round your lower back as you come into that half lift. So stretch your glutes towards the back of the room and stretch through the crown of your head. Take a deep inhale, pull that belly in, and exhale, release yourself down towards the floor. Now, once again, you can take that bend of your knees. Let's do the same thing one more time. Inhale into that half lift. Draw your belly in as much as you can, and exhale to press that belly against the top of your thighs. I promise if you had any gas right here, you'd start to feel that belly bubbling up. And the more that you bring your chest towards the floor and your belly into your thighs, I find the easier it is to help just let it go. All right. You might want to lift yourself up gently. Heel to your feet out a little wider. Mats with distance apart, maybe even wider than mats with distance apart. It's going to help you get those hands to the floor even more. And once you get those hands to the floor, take a moment. Once again, bend one knee and then the other. See if you can keep your whole foot flat on the floor. So as you shift the weight towards one thigh, once again, belly coming towards your thigh, try not to just roll towards the inside edge of your foot. Try to keep that pinky toe flat on the floor. Oh, this feels so good. I think we're going to move this into Skandasana in a hot minute. But first I want you to find a little bit more total body stretch so that it's easier to reach into that deeper half squat. So keep your left hand down on the floor. This time you can start to shift the weight a little bit forward. So instead of keeping the weight in your heels and this huge stretch that's happening through the glute and the hamstring, you can start to shift the weight forward a little bit. Maybe bring the stretch more towards your calves as I tuck my shirt in like a winner. Awesome. Right hand stretches up towards the ceiling. Try to create a straight line from your right hand fingertips all the way down to the left hand on the floor. And notice if your chest is still squared to the mat, which it probably was when you first came into this posture. Draw your belly in. Use your inhale to open up your chest such that if there was a wall that came and pressed behind you, you're working to get your upper back, your shoulder, the back of your arm, and hand flat on the floor. But if you need to, if it's too much on your neck, you don't have to stretch your neck all the way up to the ceiling. Take one more big inhale and exhale. Release that hand back down. Let's shift back into bending one knee and then the other. Getting a big stretch on those inner thighs as well. Maybe a little bit more weight comes into your heels for this one. And then get ready to shift and bring some weight towards the toes as we find that big, long stretch right up here. So this time, right hand stays at the floor, just about under the center of your chest. Take that rounding out of the back. Find some big length and inhale your left hand up. On your next inhale, take that squareness out of your chest. Really open up towards the ceiling. Helps to really press your hand palm into the floor in the mat to help pull the chest forward. One more big inhale. Exhale, release your left hand down towards the floor. Shift the weight side to side. Let's do it now. Let's just come into that Skandasana. So you might want to heel toe one foot out a little further than the other. Let's go ahead, shift the weight to the right leg. Maybe your heel comes up off of the floor, and as you lift yourself up, straightening out that left leg, heel presses into the floor, toes up towards the ceiling. Plant that left foot back down. Shift the weight over to that side. Bend yourself down. Just balancing on the ball of the foot, or maybe you have the flexibility to keep the whole left foot on the floor. Inhale yourself up. Heel toe those feet back in together. Yay! Shift the weight into your heels. Send your hips towards the back of the room. Sweep your fingers down towards the floor. Inhale them up into chair pose. One more big inhale, stretch your glutes back. Exhale, stand yourself all the way up. Relax your arms down by your side. Take a couple deep breaths right here in your mountain pose. Let's get some nice stretches into those legs as well. So go ahead, step your right leg forward. I'll shift this way. Step your right leg, Fred, forward. Step your left leg back. You can work to get that left heel on the floor. Turn your hips to square them with the mat. And take a gentle bend of that right knee. It's okay if you want to take a larger step as well to get that a little bit more of a squeeze in the glute. Take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to bring that back knee down to the mat. Awesome. Take your time. Untuck your back toe. Walk or shimmy your right toes forward and shift the weight forward. Take that big opening of your hip right here. Take a squeeze of that back leg glute. And let's go ahead and find a twist right here. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus those arms. Bringing that chest forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, turn and twist towards your bent leg. Go ahead, take your left hand towards the outside of your right leg. Draw your belly in again. Find a lift from the top of your head. We're going to bring a stretch into our bent knee quad. If it feels right for you, reach your, which arm is this? Right hand fingertips back. And go ahead, reach for your right toe. As you press that knee into the floor and still continue to push your hips forward, big opening of the hips, and bring in some attention to the quad as well. Draw your belly in, feel that stretch through the lower back, shoulders are released away from ears. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, carefully release that foot back down. Take a turn back towards the front. Bring your fingers down towards the floor. Tuck your toes under, lift yourself up, and go ahead, step your back leg back generously. Draw your front leg in, swoop those fingers down towards the floor. Back leg is back, front leg is forward. Inhale, lift yourself up. Relax your arms down to your side, reach your fingers down, send your glutes back, bend your left knees, reach those fingers to the floor. Inhale, swoop yourself back up. 2 more times, relax your hands down. Fingers to the floor, bend your knees, send those glutes back, swoop, lift. Last time on this side, fingers come down, bend your knee, Swoop down. Ah, such a great hamstring stretch, a little into the calf as well. Go ahead, turn towards the center. Stretch yourself up, interlace your fingers. Let's find that big stretch all the way over to the right again. Inhale back up through center. Let's exhale over to the left. One more time, inhale through center. Find space from your shoulders, belly in. Stretch to the right. Inhale through center. Stretch to the left. Awesome. Back through the middle. We're going to turn towards the opposite side. You can relax those arms down by your side. Separate those feet. Oh my gosh. Jessica, just starting in this nice runner's lunge, taking a moment right here, squeezing that back glute, squaring your hips. You know we're not going to hang out standing for too long. Take one more big inhale, and exhale, release that back knee down towards the floor. Untuck your toes if you need to. If you have the flexibility, wiggle your front foot forward and shift the weight forward. Just make sure that your knee is not going past that toe. Send those fingers down, still squared with the top of your mat. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus those arms. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, find this twist. So this time bringing your right hand to the outside of the left leg. Make sure you're not collapsing your chest here. So open your chest. Find that lift through. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And if you have it in you, bend your knee and just reach back for your back foot. Maybe you can barely touch it. Maybe you touch it. Maybe you can grab hold of it. Do what works best for your body today. Really open up that chest. Draw your belly in. Push your hips forward. Take one more big inhale. And exhale, slowly, gently release your back foot. Turn yourself back forward. You can bring your hands down to the floor. Tuck your back toe under. Lift that knee up and step your back foot in generously. Bend that back knee, straighten your front leg, starting with those toes down on the floor. Feel that big stretch through your hamstring all the way down through your heel. Swoop your fingers down. Inhale, lift yourself back up. Belly in, relax your fingers by your side. Inhale, swoop yourself down. Exhale, lift up. 2 more times. Just make sure you're breathing. Last one. You're amazing. Step those feet together. Arms stretch up overhead. Take a deep inhale. Rain or swan dive down to the floor. Inhale up into that half lift again. Find that length. Stretch your glutes and separate them behind you. Exhale, relax your hands down to the floor. Step 1 foot back at a time. Take a moment right here in plank. Challenge those shoulders. We just did such a great job stretching them out. Make sure you're keeping the weight shifted forward. No down dogs. Full planks for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5. 1. You're amazing. Bend your knees. Send your hips back towards your heels. Can you keep those arms stretched forward in front of you? Can you even tent your fingers? Press the pads of the fingers into the floor. It's okay if you can't. If your shoulders are super tired or tight, take this generous bend of your elbows and experiment with how far forward can you start to walk your arms. Rome was not built in a day. You don't have to put your foot behind your head the first, the second, even the 100th time you come to yoga, but just do your best. Awesome. All right, go ahead, bring your hands around where your chest is going to be. Press yourself up, walk them forward. Let's come on into a pigeon. So bringing that left leg forward, left toes to the right side of the mat, walk, wiggle, however you need to get there to get your back leg behind you. You're not sitting down on this glute. You are staying on your extended back leg. You can find a little bit more of a stretch in your back, lifting yourself up nice and high. Maybe it feels good to bring those forearms down to the ground. Just do what feels right for you. Maybe you barely have your foot close towards your chest, which is going to increase the stretch. throughout the lower leg. Maybe you have your heel tucked in really close towards your hip. This is also okay. You can do the same thing laying down on your back or sitting in a chair, simply crossing your legs. Work to get that extended back legs, hip flexor on the floor, or if you're laying down on your back, you're just working to stretch your bent knee away from you. All right, we're going to come into deer pose. So lift yourself up if you came down, bend your back leg, come into a nice 90 degree angle. Doesn't matter if your legs are touching each other. Do what feels right and natural for your body today. This time working to get that back glute down onto the floor. Awesome. Bring your hands behind you. Take a moment, windshield wipe your feet. You're welcome. You're welcome. And then drop this deer pose to the opposite side. Sit yourself up as you can. You might still want to have those hands behind you as some support. Maybe you have your hands in front of you. Just find what feels right for your body. Can you take this collapsing out of your shoulders? Find that lift and open of your chest. Opposite direction that we tend to find ourselves when we're sitting and working. And now we're going to come into the pigeon on the opposite side. So bringing those hands forward. Remember, you can have this top foot as parallel with the top of your mat as feels right, and it can be as folded in as feels comfortable for you. Both sides of the body are not the same, so take the time, start to wiggle your back leg back. Find what feels good on this side. You're not sitting down on the glute of your bent knee in front of you. You're rolling to the top of your thigh of your extended back leg. And then you're just going to breathe from there. Do you want to find some length, pressing your elbows into the floor and increase the stretch? Do you want to find some rounding? Maybe finding a little bind or a mini bind with the top of your head. Just experiment. Everybody is different. Every day is different. And it's so much about just appreciating what your body can do today. Because some days you might amaze yourself. Because no matter what, you are amazing. And some days you might honestly feel a little disappointed. Maybe not in the performance that your body can give, but sometimes if we hurt ourselves or we're overwhelmed with work, it can be disappointing to not be able to challenge ourselves. And then, fascinatingly enough, on the days that we need to challenge ourselves, it can feel miserable. All right, go ahead, come on back onto your glutes. Let's bring our hands behind us, and once again, just come into windshield wiping those legs, right and left, right and left. I think we deserve a delightful spine twist here at the end. So go ahead, take your time, lower yourself down onto your back. Keep those knees bent, extend your arms out towards the side. Press to your heels as you lift up, roll over onto one hip and drop your knees to one side of your body. You can keep your knees bent. You can extend through your lower leg to feel a little bit more engagement. Find what feels good for your body today. Feel free to change up the arms. If you want a little extra stretch, turn your chin in the opposite direction of the knees as you work to relax both shoulders to the floor. Take 4 more breaths here. Then go ahead, use that next exhale to bring your legs back together and carefully roll onto your back. You know what's coming, so press into your feet. Roll to the opposite hip and allow your knees to drop to the other side of your body. If this is really uncomfortable in your hip, think about using a prop. Taking a block and stacking it between your knees can help to provide a little bit more spacing, especially if you know that you have any pinching or sciatic nerve issues. You don't want to be crossing the legs as much. You want to keep them parallel to each other. So placing this block between them, even something like sleeping with a block or a pillow between your legs, if you're feeling any pain, pinching, tenderness, or discomfort in the hips. Treat yourself. Let's come into one more hip opener before we are already at our final Savasana. Take your time, carefully roll over onto your back again. Bring the soles of your feet together and allow those knees to fall heavy out towards the side. If your hips are really tight, think about using a prop to help you relax. Maybe you even think, oh, my knees are close enough. I don't need that prop. I just want to tell you that while you might think you don't need it, you deserve it. I find it's really easy to get my legs to the floor. I have very open hips. Whatevs. On most days I do, but you know, on the days where I'm feeling tight, instead of muscling through it, you're home by yourself. Who are you proving something to? We're here to relax as much as possible. So find something that you can support yourself with. And start to really relax your upper body into the floor. Make sure you're not stretching your chin up towards the ceiling. Maybe even a slight tucking of your chin to get as much of the back of your head, your neck, your shoulders, your upper back relaxed to the mat. Relax your chest. Allow your belly button to sink back towards your spine as your lower back is pressed down to the floor. Take your time and slowly extend one leg out at a time. Take that relaxation through your glutes if extending your legs brought any stress to your lower back. Take a slight bend of those knees so you can take an anterior tilt of the pelvis. And feel a little bit more relaxed. Release your toes. Maybe you notice the fingers in your hands, palms curling up. Maybe you sense your amazing energy just pulsing, swirling, vibrating in your hands, palms, in your body, in your mind, in your soul. Even if you think it sounds weird, it's happening. So enjoy it. I want to thank y'all so much for coming today. I want you to thank yourself, so bring a smile to your face. Give yourself a real or imaginary hug. Oh. And tell yourself one nice thing right now. If you feel confident enough, I want you to say it out loud. I'm proud of you, Jessica. All right. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that we said or did today, I hope that you'll reach out. Till we see each other again, continue to think those good thoughts. Speak your good words. Eat good foods, do good deeds. Take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. If you need a little extra encouragement, we're here for you. We've got a super fun summer bingo challenge. Some great ways to do some things you might already be doing and just expand your body, mind, soul to try something else. Spend as much time here on the floor as feels right for you. And when you feel ready, carefully get yourself up. Have a wonderful rest of your day, y'all. And an amazing short week.